Good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, and yes, we are here at the Plan to Prosper show. I am Sharon Campbell, your host for today. And yes, we are in your hand, right on your social media. You don't have to worry about how to find us. We are in 200 countries, bringing you the best speakers around the globe. And tonight, we have the amazing Eliza Duke Carter from the Breathing Institute. Eliza's going to share with us your why to your stress and how to get rid of all of that stress. Eliza, we cannot wait to hear all of the strategies that you have for us today. Join us now on the stage, Eliza.
Well, good day to you, Sharon. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to simply share.
Just the tone of your voice, all of my stress has left already.
Awesome.
Now you know you got to come every day on the social media platform and use that voice. I think everyone at 6 o'clock is going to take everyone. Where's Eliza? Where's she at? Where's she at? I am so honored to have you with us because our platform, the Plan to Prosper, is only going to prosper because Eliza is going to teach stress and how to get rid of it. So we can come on the platform, come in your home, and what? Pray. So, Eliza, tell us about your company and all the great things and the why to your stress.
Wow. I tell you, as Eliza Dukes Carter, I'm certified as stress management strategist and behavior analysis as well, because I believe that if you learn what your personality style is concerning stress, where it's coming from, why it's coming, and how it's coming, we can begin to look at how to create a plan that's tailored for you. So, specifically, I got started with me in about 2012. Everything had piled up on me. And one thing about stress is that when we ignore the signs and symptoms, and it usually shows up in some type of dis-ease. So I had started off as a reproductive health counselor and phlebotomist, then moved over to a data administrator, then moved over to an HIV pre and post test counselor. And that's when a real impact came because I was counseling sex addicts. And I really got just so frustrated. I was in seminary at the time. I was counseling sex addicts. And to be raw and tell the truth, I heard God say, stop having some sex. You're seminary now, Eliza. You got to straighten up, girl. And so that created another level of stress, but it also gave me another level of freedom because we didn't know where the HIV and AIDS was coming from. And to be in my program, you had to be pregnant and test positive. Okay. And then I created a complete self-care plan because once the ladies had gone through their 9 months of having pregnancy, at the end, they found themselves just discombobulated, trying to take care of themselves and take care of a newborn baby. So I created a self-care plan, which I had to begin to use because I recognized that although they were stressed, I was still internalizing a lot of the stress. So fast forward, I had gone to school for law before I went to school for counseling.
Okay.
And, so when I came out and I was burnt out from counseling, I said, well, let me just get a job at a law firm and, piddle paddle around a little bit until I get my head together. Well, they hired me as assistant supervisor for one of the major class actions, a fen-phen diet drug. Okay. And now I'm talking to people who are suicidal. And I'm like, God, you have got to be kidding me. You mean to tell me that I'm thinking I'm escaping some of this counseling and it shows up in a more traumatic experiences, Every day I'm on the phone, I'm like, why am I getting these calls escalated to me? So you got to handle them. But once again, I was internalizing the stress. I didn't really have no practices for myself back then. And so in 2012, when I was laid off of the second class action for the asbestos, I found myself being put on high blood pressure medications. And I was so upset with the doctor because, I mean, he was doing his job, of course, right?
Okay.
But I
Yes,
was
yes.
not going to take the medication because I felt like I should have some solutions. I've been giving out solutions all my life, so I should have my own solutions.
Solution.
But I simply did not.
Mhm.
So the blessing is my research background allowed me to begin to research. I literally did a prayer. I says, God, I need a natural remedy. I need
Okay.
a solution for myself because as soon as I started taking the medication, I had a pain in my side. And so I knew that it was not properly filtering through my kidneys. I knew that there was going to be a problem long term.
Okay.
And turns out the medication was recalled a year later. Now, had I
Wow.
not pushed to get off of the medication, I would have had some long term effects from it. So when breathing showed up in my research, I was like, this is too easy. You mean to
Okay.
tell me because you breathed the breath of life into us and you said there was life
Mhm.
in it and everything we could possibly need? And so I began to take breathing classes and I could feel the pressure relieving out of my body. And then it made room and space for me to kind of think and recalibrate my mind. And then I got into some meditation. Then I created some meditative breaths. And I'm like, Lord, you know, you sure know how to answer us. When we need to be answered and we take the time to listen.
Mhm.
And so I never expected to be a company. But I started getting inquiries at church. You know, people were like, Eliza, you're looking so vibrant. You got all the energy again. Like, I'm literally doing some deep breathing before I go to bed at night. I'm doing
Mhm.
it throughout the day. It wakes me up in the morning. And when I feel the most stress, it's second nature now because I've been practicing it so long, you know? But this is the thing, I must have
Wait a
learned.
minute. Wait a minute. Can you give us an example?
Sure,
Of
absolutely. One of the breaths I always start with is a mouth breath because it's
okay.
easy. And one thing I love sharing about the mouth breath is that it circulates the energy out of the
Okay.
body. So the tension, because you have tension in your stomach. You take a few
Mhm.
deep breaths till you feel the calming effects of it. Because
Mhm.
as soon as you take a deep breath, guess what happens? It begins to lower the blood pressure. It raises the quality of the red blood cells. It
Okay.
releases toxins out of the lungs, so it makes it easier for you to breathe. And it's such a long list I couldn't possibly tell you at this point. But so let's do this. Let's tilt our head back a little bit. I can't tilt my head back too much, but I'm just covering all stuff. But tilt your head back a little bit. And this is the thing: when you tilt your head back, your shoulders should drop a little bit because as soon as you tilt your head back, your lungs automatically open. And this is a restful space that you put yourself in just by relaxing. Think about how long we're on the computer throughout the day. When computer systems first came into place, we had to at least take a 15-minute break every half hour. We don't even think about that anymore. This is all in the plan that I teach. It's really being consciously conscious that you should take constant breaks because it refreshes you. So when you show back up in the next moment, what happens? You're
You feel
thinking
better. I felt better already. It was like,
because you're disconnected from everything going on around you. You're not
mhm,
thinking about anything but this relaxing moment.
thanks.
And you deserve it. And you deserve to
Oh,
give yourself these
wow.
relaxing moments as much as possible.
Mhm.
So as you think about right now, I want you to think about sitting straight up to make sure that your body is properly aligned because it makes it easy to breathe once again. And I'm going to instruct you. The first one. Now, the key to this breath is putting your mouth in like you're sucking on a straw when you exhale.
Mhm.
So we're going to inhale to a count of 4. We're going to hold for just a second, and then we're going to put our mouths in the O and release. I'm going to show you just like this. And then you relax. Now, one thing I want you to think about while you're doing this breath, I want you to think about what part of your body do you feel like the breath is getting to. So here we go. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Put your mouth in the O. and release. And don't squeeze too hard. You want to relax with it because you want it to be easy on the body. Yeah, I see it. I see your shoulders going down. Wonderful.
Yes, it was as if I was here and then I went into this peacefulness.
Yes.
Mhm.
But think about it. Who breathed the breath of life into us? The Almighty God, right? So when we take a deep breath, guess what happens? We realign to His energy because we're consciously connecting with Him because He's the breath. Think about
Mhm.
it like this too. The first breath went into Adam, as we know, right?
Mhm.
He didn't come back breathing breaths into everybody that got born. It was
Mhm.
one breath. We're living off of one original breath. That's how powerful He is. So when we begin to take our conscious breathing seriously, we get to a space where we understand that you're creating for yourself now to be able to push that pause button for yourself like you do on a computer. You know how you
Yeah.
push that refresh button? You want to refresh yourself constantly. And think about your breath that way. When you take a moment and say, okay, I'm
Mhm.
feeling so stressed right now. Or you take
Mhm.
a moment and say, I want to feel better right now. I just want to kind of get my
Mhm.
head straight. I'm getting ready to
Mhm.
go to a meeting. I just want to kind of just show up as my highest self. Take a few deep breaths till you feel calm, and it puts you on the other side of peace and what? Self-harmony. You want to be in harmony with yourself as much as possible.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love that. And the exercise make you feel good. It
It
takes you
does.
away
It does. It really
from
does.
where you was. Say if you drive home, you're fighting traffic, you know the kids are there, and of course they're gonna say they're hungry, and your whole logic is you could have been in the refrigerator and gotten something to eat, and you were like, I'm walking in the door, and bam, a million questions, and you're like, who did you talk to before I walk in the door? And say it's the time that you may have to step away, go to the bathroom, and practice your breathing. Just get together, and then be able to come back out and say, okay, we can handle all of this because
Yes.
now
Yes.
it would also remind me of one of my clients that said before she get out of her car, her mom would say, "Why are you sitting out there in your car when you drive out?" She said she needed that time
Mm-hmm.
before she come into the house to the children. She said, "I just needed to stop and be still before I start this other job." And so you are right that it makes a big difference.
It does. And when you properly do it, you know that you're learning how to work the muscle called the diaphragm. And this is another key component. When you go to sleep at night, if you've been doing the breathing exercises throughout the day, that means when you
Mhm.
go to sleep at night, your diaphragm is not working as hard. So it means your heart is not working as hard. That's why it works so well to lower the blood pressure. That's why it's important to take a class. You take a class, it nails everything for you, and then you're able to do it properly and it benefits your whole being.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that breathing throughout the day, doing all these little exercises, by the time you get ready to go to sleep, your body is still conditioned?
That's
Wow.
how powerful our breath is. That's the force of our breath. Because, I
Mhm.
mean, when you think about it, if your diaphragm is a muscle and you're learning how to breathe, then you're learning how to simply stretch it. So it works better for you. It works good with
Mhm.
digestion,
Mhm.
it works good with hot flashes. I'm telling you, the list goes on and on and on, Sharon. Yes, absolutely. You can be in the middle
It's
of a hot flash.
incredible because I do meditation, and I'm just telling you, it is so good to sit on the floor and hear the water running and breathe and close my eyes and just feel like I'm at rest. I'm at peace. But I never thought about it doing it throughout the day. I will pick that up the rest of the night until I go to sleep and
Good.
all day time. So I have to put that a practice says, don't be at your computer 4, 5, 6 hours. Sometimes we be at that computer, that laptop. We just once we sit there, we glued until we go get something to eat. We don't breathe, don't do no breathing. We don't really do anything but just work, work, work. And our
Mhm.
body's like getting tighter. So the why to your stress is you're not taking out time to take care of you during that time you're working.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you some other secret things to do because even though the breathing is the key component, there's a few other things that you could be doing
Okay.
to disconnect from all the energy that you're taking in. Think about it. If you get somebody that calls you, you're upset, they're upset, and they call you, what do you do after they call you? You go right back to work, you know?
And
And
you
so
internalize some of that stuff also.
that energy
Where
goes right
you
into you.
take it, you take on that stuff that someone call you about. You take on their stuff.
You do. You do. You constantly do. There's times that I know specific people that I know, what I call them my extra drama people. And I pick and choose the times that I connect with them because I know there's always gonna be something additional that comes with it. So, you have to really get to a mindset that you begin to preserve yourself. You preserve your energy, you preserve how you want to feel,
Mhm,
and so when you once again show up to the next phase of the moment,
mhm.
you're fully aware and ready to show up as your highest being because you prepared yourself for those moments.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, like all of us, we have dysfunction of friends, dysfunction of family members. So it's
Absolutely.
almost if you prep yourself of your breathing and really say consciously, I can only have this conversation for 5 minutes on my own health, but I still love them and I want to check on them. Yeah,
Yes.
I have some girlfriends, like you say, I'm just like, okay, I don't know if I could take this today, but I need
Right.
to check on her. And I love her. I want to just check on her. And I'm like, okay, let me, it's almost like I'm prepping for the conversation. And
Yes.
here it come. And I be beat down after
Yeah, because it been dumped on you and it has actually exhausted you in a way that you've taken on some of their energy. You've heard things you don't even want to hear right now, and you tolerated something perhaps you shouldn't have tolerated. And I always say to you, if you're serious about taking a breathing class and I do meditation with it, let's set it up on Zoom and invite your girlfriends. And that means they begin to get some coping skills, some adult coping skills.
because and the weird thing is you don't even get to say anything and you drain.
No, you should
They
just be
have
breathing while you're
conversations like,
hollering,
well, did I
breathing.
even speak? Did I even say hello to you? I'm just trying to check on you because you don't went to the hospital. And all I just want to know, are you okay? And can I hang up? And then I'm just like, okay. And then you look at the phone, you're like, I can't call you back for another month.
Yeah. And you know it's gonna be longer than 5 minutes when you pick the phone up. You're trying to find out what's your exit going to be. What can you say to them that allows you to shorten the conversation so that you can go on back to whatever you want to do, as opposed to taking on this extra stuff that you really don't have a solution for with them anyway. Sometimes they need a listening ear, and sometimes they simply need some new coping skills because we can no longer use the old coping skills. We've been through so much pressure through the
Yeah,
pandemic, we've been through so much stress.
yeah.
We learned just how to kind of cope and come out each day
Mhm.
and still feeling the pressures from putting the mask on every day. It
Putting the
lowers
mask
the
on.
oxygen in the blood every time we put the mask on.
Mhm. And I also think about when you're working with clients and you there one client in the world of Zoom, in the world of Zoom, in the world of StreamYard, in the world of being there on this machine, and you're
Absolutely.
like, I cannot escape them compared to before all of this. It was like they're holding me hostage. And how do I hit in the call without being rude?
I simply say, hold up just a minute, just a minute. This has gone too far. And I tell my friends in a minute, it has gone too far. I was in the middle of something. I took time to stop because I care about you and I love you, but I've got to make the shift now. You know,
Okay.
and he's like, "Oh, girl, you don't call me back? Nope, not tonight. I'm not calling you back tonight. No,
You know,
ma'am."
I like this. This is a great time for us to take a pause, have our commercial, and then
Okay.
we'll be right back.
Greetings of peace and self harmony. Did you know being vulnerable to someone to help you clarify, strategize, and work out those blind spots could be the quickest way for you to step into a greater, more rewarding, and fulfilling lifestyle? Ask me how I know. Each day that we waste pondering and thinking and trying to decide, do we need a therapist, a coach, or a life strategist, is simply wasting time. Why? Because no one knows their life clock. I am Eliza Dukes Carter, CEO and founder of the Breathing Experience Movement, a coaching program. I would love to help you decide, do you need a therapist, a coach, or a life strategist? Let's connect. Schedule a call with me now, because each day is precious and it matters, and you deserve to have the clarity, the plan, and the amazing experiences that life holds just for you. Talk to you soon, and thanks for listening.
Wow. Wow, audience. Did you not feel good? Did you not love the tone of her voice? She said, stay calm. I got you. You're going to be okay. We're going to get through this. I have a class for you, and tomorrow is going to be better. All you have to do is take control of you, and you is going to be okay. Liza, I feel better already.
Awesome. You know, this is something that is something people simply need to hear. Everything is going to be okay. You'll get through this. I care about you. I'm supporting you right now. Yep. I mean, those words are heartfelt words.
Mhm.
And that's why sometimes when our friends are going off, and we can say, I care about you. I tell my girlfriend this all the time. She said, Liza, you just broke me all the way down. I said, because you know what I do. I said, and sometimes it's all you need to simply hear,
Mhm.
because you're calling about the same situation. And when you come into the class, you cut up so bad. And that's why sometimes you cannot always work with your friends and your family. And that's the truth.
Oh,
And it's the new people that come in that really benefit from your services, because they're open, they're ready, they're hungry,
right.
and they're willing to invest in themselves. You
Mhm.
know, so they want the change, they want the solutions, they want to see them have some coping skills and some strategies that really work beneficially for their health and overall well-being, because they
Right.
simply deserve to feel the best, live the highest quality of life, and be more positively productive whatever they choose to do. You
Mhm.
know, work stress is a huge pressure for a lot of people right now. A lot of
Right.
people thought when they got home it was going to be so easy. I'm home, I can hop out the bed in my sweatsuit, take a
I
shower,
know.
get a sweatsuit, and get, in front of the computer. No, because now you got to manage the kids. And at a point in time, you got to manage the home. Now you become a real home manager, plus managing your office and your house. And if you don't have adequate space, and I mean, just the pressures just piled up. And I tell people, you don't have certain things to support yourself in the house, because you've gone from a physical office to your home space, and now you don't have no outlet from home. So the pressures have piled up even more on people. And then when they go back to work, they have attitudes because they don't want to be back to work,
Mhm.
and they come home, they don't want to be home. So what you gonna do?
Stay in the car. Stay in the car. Like, I want to stay in the car. Because what you're saying with it, we had this mindset. Oh, we're working from home. It's going to be no, it's not. No, no, no. It is additional stress because
Yeah,
now you're trying to manage the home
yeah,
and work, and you're telling yourself, "I'm going into that room, and I'm only going to take a break doing my regular break." But then you walk out, and you're like, "These are not any of my colleagues." But one thing is true: you're on Zoom. You are zoned out. You know,
yes,
it's not like they could walk to the door. Now they scheduling all these zones back to back. Before, when they walked in, you could actually turn around and say, "Thank you so very much." And it was like a 10 or 15 minutes conversation. Now you own zone.
yes.
Back back and you are zoned out. And now you're trying to take yourself off so you can work on this, do that. And it's more stressful.
Because the computer is stressful alone. And I
Yes.
call it the techno stress. You know, we're spending the time in front of it. There's energy and rays that come from the computer.
Oh,
You know? And once again, we know we're not taking proper breaks.
the,
And it messes with your eyes after a while.
mm-hmm.
If you don't have those glasses, the little yellow glasses on, you know, that kind of block some of the blue rays of the
Yes.
computer, then you realize that you're like being consumed by the computer, you know? And so we've got to do better with coping skills. We have to really take it serious that if we're in this state of mind today, what are we
Mm-hmm.
going to look like in the next year or two?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because we're accommodating the jobs through the computer. When I do my initial calls, I do them on the phone. And then if a person signs with me, then I get on the computer. I don't start everybody with the computer.
Thank you. Because we are zoned out. You know,
Yeah.
I see people that they would get up, get dressed, fix up, be gorgeous, walk out the house. Now we like, oh, we staying home. Oh, we're gonna have a Zoom call. I can keep my bottoms on. But it's like you forgot what all made you feel good every day.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
don't put in you like before you get makeup, make up your face, put some lipstick on, put some perfume on. Now it is, oh, they're not going to see me from the waist down unless you drop your laptop and they see you from the waist down. And we have had some of that stuff.
Wow.
Or you get up and forget everybody can see you and they see what you have on. And
Mhm.
it's like, what happened? And you want to say, what happened to us? We became somebody else
Yeah.
during COVID-19. And now the world has opened back up. And guess what? What's happening now? People are now going back in the office and they're even more stressed because they don't know how to make the shift from zone
Exactly.
out to talking to
Exactly.
people, to getting ready, getting dressed, get the kids out, go get the dog, talk to your husband, go see this. And you're like, oh my goodness. And then you get to the office and you need to take time, as Liza said, tip your head back, open up that diaphragm, y'all. Eliza, teach us one more strategy because I'm just telling you,
Um, well, I can't think of a strategy I actually teach other than the O breath, and I'll tell you why. It
right?
takes a while to master the breath. When you know how to do it properly, because you got to realize I started in 2012. It took me almost 2.5 years to get off of the high blood pressure medication. So I've been off about almost 8 years,
Oh,
you know. So
fantastic.
this because I was determined. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I still take my blood pressure periodically, at least a couple of times a week, because I want to make sure that I'm still on point. Because I just recently lost my mom, and it was this month of last year. So it's just about to be a year, you know. So and I was a caregiver for her, running the business and working a job at the time, you know. So
Okay.
I'm at a space now where yesterday I literally was crying. And this is funny because I can be crying and laughing in the next moment because I really don't take life that serious anymore. I just simply don't. In the aspects of I want to release whatever I need to release and get past the moment. I was missing her and I was laughing about something she said. So I put on her recording. I was like, Mom, you know, you have got to be kidding me. And I kept all her recording. She recorded to me over the last few months, you know. And she called me and says, Eliza, where you at? You see me in 5 minutes.
You're like,
Really like a book, you know, and I'm just tickled because at least I can still hear her voice, you know. And
mhm,
that's another a skill set that I've created for myself is that
mhm.
if I'm feeling the pressure, I acknowledge it. And then I take one of the strategies and I work through it so I can make the shift quicker so I don't stay in that place because I actually dealt with a lot of depression in my 20s. I was singing professionally, and the pressure of that whole limelight was more than I wanted to handle, you know.
Mhm.
So when I was singing in a group, we were traveling the world, and you know, and it was
All
like,
you just want to do is sing.
yeah, I didn't want all the extra stuff. I didn't even want people to salute me afterwards. I just wanted to get off the stage and just enjoy life. But that wasn't how it was working, you know.
Mhm.
So this is the thing about stress. In each new environment, there's a different you that shows up. I
Okay.
don't think we realize that.
Okay.
So when you said earlier about when you've left from working at home and you're back in the office, you
Mhm.
carry the same pressures you had from home because when you get back home, you know you got to deal with the stuff you were dealing with before. And
Right.
if you've not had a time to kind of flush that out,
Mm-hmm.
Help you flush that out. Then you're taking the same energies right into the office. You're short
Mm-hmm.
patient. You know what I mean? And see, this is the thing about cardiovascular disease. It builds up over a time of years, but when it shows
Wow.
up, that baby ain't sweet at all. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of times we're ignoring the signs and symptoms.
Okay.
And that's the scary part for me is that when I felt the rushing going on in my body, I'm like, something's out of sorts.
You know.
I'm going through divorce at a time, and I'm raising a teenager who's acting like he ain't got no good old dog sense. And I'm working at a job that's highly stressed. So I'm like, no wonder,
Mm-hmm.
it showed up, So we're at a space now where the African American community we have got to wake up to the point where we're number one.
That's right.
We're number one for heart disease. We're
One.
number one for diabetes, number one. Yes, the
One.
men and the women.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Caucasian, the white women are showing up in the same statistics level because they're stressed too. But if we don't do something now,
Mm-hmm.
it lessens the quality of life. Because once a
Right.
person has a stroke or
Mm-hmm.
has, a stroke makes you have to come back really hard, but a heart attack, you may bounce back a little faster, but you've got to
Mm-hmm.
change your eating habits, your exercise habits. I love the exercises that I do because with the breathing and the exercise that I do, it allows you to release the frustration in the body. And a couple of the breaths actually relieve the tension on a high
Mm-hmm.
level, because we need 20% more oxygen in our cranium to be able to think straight.
That's right.
Just to be able to say, okay, whew, I just heard that. I can retain it because the stress is messing with our memory big time. The computer, the stress, the computer. It's
Peter.
a lot. And there are no statistics that I've been able to find that talks about the long-term effects of what the computer is going to be doing to us when we get in our 70s and our 80s and our 90s. Because at that point in time, we shouldn't be working on these computers all the time. I'm clear about it. I'm not going to be doing it. I'm working a lot more offline now because I'm going back to meeting with some groups,
Mm-hmm.
because I recognize that I don't want to be on a computer all the time. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when the clients that I have that are in different states, of course I do. But the ones that are nearby in the tri-state, we can drive me to the mutual place, and it's good. I really don't go to people's homes because the truth is that a lot of people are not airing out their homes. We go into these buildings with the mask. We don't know if their ductwork is clean, if they're actually doing the protocols that needs to be done to make sure that the air quality is good. So we have a lot of challenges around this area, but the biggest thing is that we've got to get more oxygen into the body.
You got to. You
Yeah,
got to get more oxygen into the body because the mind and the brain needs it. It
absolutely.
needs that. It really needs. Sometimes you heard it. I practice mindfulness, and I tell people if you ever practice mindfulness, it's just incredible how to still the mind and really focus. And so one of the things we practice is how to take a sip of water and go and hold it and really taste it for 30 minutes. And someone says, yes, you actually can do that. You can eat one grape for 20 minutes. You're going to taste how I feel. And that is the way that you're going to start getting back into, and it's a way to detox your body,
Absolutely.
all of that and everything. So I commend what you are doing. So tell us about your courses, how to get in touch with you, how to the stress. Because we don't have to stress anymore because Eliza's here. So your why to stress is right on the show today.
I don't want y'all to get mad at me.
I
But
love
I'm
it.
getting ready to put them online because I've been doing a lot of courses for a long time because I
Mhm.
thought they were most effective. And now I know that I have to put them online. I'm not going to be teaching a lot on stress anymore.
Mhm.
And my girlfriend said, "You think you're not?"
I love if it's and
My
look, if
coach
it's
said, "You think
online,
you're not?"
I could be laying in my bed and listen to it like I'm listening to Alexis. Alexis, play me Eliza de-stress. Thank you. And turn over.
Yes, I just talked to the gentleman in the studio today. I'm going in the studio because
Okay.
one thing I did a survey with a lot of my clients and asked them specifically, what do they want from me? Instead of me thinking I'm giving you all this stuff that I know has been working for you. Well, what do you want? They said, we want you on some music and just hear your voice giving us some instructions. We know that I send out actually videos to my clients all the time, but they're talking
Right.
about something they could just put on and just let it play for a long time. Because I do like 1 and 2 minute videos. They're like, we're
Mhm.
talking like at least 30 minutes. So that's what I'm
Mhm.
working on now. But
Okay, good.
also,
I think that's fantastic.
thank you.
Cannot wait to be one of the one to purchase it because it makes a difference.
Yeah,
If I can say to Alexis, put on this, put on Eliza, I can sit there and relax and hear the calmness of stillness of your voice to bring me back center, to get me back into where I'm supposed to be, to still the mind and all of that. Before I go to bed, listen at you before I go to bed. Because
and it's
listening at the
vital too.
TV is
Mm-hmm.
even more stuff inside of you.
Oh my gosh. We just stop watching TV at least an hour before we're ready to settle down. We need to because it really does rev the body up and
It
there's a
does.
proper rest. And the mind has to rest in order to heal the body.
Mhm.
You need the proper amount of sleep. I'm up at 5 in the morning. So I'm usually in the bed between 10, 10:30, you know. And once you've trained yourself to get up early, the alarm clock don't matter. You're gonna wake right up. And I take a nap sometimes throughout the day. If I need a nap, I'd be so happy. Oh, I can take a nap.
But you know what?
I have
There's a
no
lot of studies. Sorry for cutting you, but there's a lot of studies say if you take a nap throughout the day from work, how more productive you are.
It's true.
There's a lot of studies about
Mhm.
that. And
Yeah.
over in the Asian countries and in England,
Australia,
they
especially, I know of. Hmm.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Is us in America think we got to work. No, they'll tell you no. Take your time and have at least an hour to an hour and a half downtime to just
Yes.
rest for you can before you complete the rest of your day and everything. And I think that will help so much with so much stress. But there's something you said that I really want to go back to is the black and brown population, especially the black population, around dealing with our mental health and our depression. The fact that we don't want to deal with that, and the fact that now we need to deal with that more so than ever. Coming out of COVID and learning how to deal with it, we can't deny what's right there in front of us. We need to talk about it.
Well, I think the whole term mental health is very intimidating for people. And I've had this
Mhm,
conversation with I've had an
mhm,
opportunity to train a lot of therapists over the years who were very stressed and took some of the breathing and meditation and intention relief exercises that I teach into their
mhm.
practices. And I said, if we could think about it as mental wellness, because we're looking for solutions, we're already in the pain. So you keep
Right.
saying, you got a mental health issue, you have a mental health issue. That is not inviting for somebody to come and say, I want to talk about my pain. We're
Mhm,
used to, I mean, and I know you're part of this generation where at the dinner table, we talked a lot about our challenges throughout the day. That was therapeutic at home, with the family. That
mhm.
whole structure has been broken down as a whole.
Right.
And
Mhm,
so when people once again go in and they're making demands and they have these systems in place because when I was teaching reproductive health, I was in the classroom and they had a structure in place. And I said to my supervisor, can I tweak this? If they gave me some room to tweak it, it's going to be completely changed. And that's exactly what I did. When they came into my classroom now, you could only come into my classroom with 10 people or more. I never allowed single people in my classroom anymore because they were teaching. I was teaching like an off time to the other teachers.
uh-huh,
So the whole class was supposed to come in, but they let the system fall apart. And I
mhm,
simply said, I was to say, this is that we're in a place now, we need one another so much. If you're
mhm.
struggling with mental health and you are not willing to admit to it, bring a couple of people with you. If you know somebody's struggling, invite them to a session so they
Mhm.
can actually feel as though somebody else is experiencing something of what I'm experiencing, and they no longer feel like they're an island, they're alone. So they don't feel like they're picked on or bullied. Because I believe the mental health society, they're bullying people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When I talk to a lot of my clients, I don't take a client if they have not been to therapy, if they need therapy. Because I
Mhm.
don't therapy thing anymore. I do self-therapeutic tools. So I
Right.
teach you how to process through it. I'm not going to listen to all your issues and all your problems. I did that for many, many, many years, So I definitely don't do that now. So
Mhm.
and if we could kind of make this a community thing where we know somebody in our family has mental health. My sister died in a state of mental health. She had a nervous breakdown.
Mhm.
And my sister, oh my gosh, she was an amazing woman. She was really an amazing woman. And when she had a nervous breakdown, she had her own company since the age of 17. She was an accountant. And
Mhm.
she had a nervous breakdown. She said, Eliza, I don't know how to recover.
Mhm.
And she could not receive from me. So I watched her slowly die. I
Mhm.
watched her to the point where she says, Eliza, you've got to take this and roll with this.
Mhm.
So when I think about why I do what I do, it's in
Mhm.
reference to her, and she poured a lot into me because our parents had us in two separate stages. So they had 10 years. She was like a second mother to me.
Oh,
So
okay.
mental health is dear to my heart. But I know once again, when I talked to her about it, it was like, I don't want to hear it. When I talk to other people about it, I don't want to hear it. I had a client not too long ago who I got access to who was suicidal.
Mhm.
And after our first session, we had such major breakthroughs, I decided to work with him.
Mhm.
And he came completely out of it. He didn't even have to go to therapy. But I very rarely take those kind of cases, but I do a case by case basis. But that's one of the
Mhm.
questions I ask. That's why I changed the video. Do you need
Okay.
a therapist, a
Mhm.
coach, or a life strategist? And a life strategist and a coach is almost synonymous. Depends on what you need to be coached with, with accountability, a
Mhm.
strategist, how you strategize, or one with the other. But a therapist is something totally different.
Different.
They're changing how they do therapy now too.
Mhm.
Because if you're talking about your problems all the time, you're reliving the pain over and over again. I
Again.
went through therapy as a child. When my
Mhm.
parents broke up, they put us in family therapy. So I
Mhm.
appreciate therapy. But once again, we're afraid of therapy because we don't trust because we've been hurt so much. But
Wow.
we're hurting ourselves more if we don't step out and get some help.
Wow. Well, you know what, Liza? It has been great, great. So much information. Matter of fact, I got to have you back because there's so much more. I just want our audience to find out how they can connect to you. And then I want to thank you so very much for this amazing conversation. Because if no one else got anything out of it in our 200 countries, I did.
Oh,
You made me feel fantastic.
well, thank you. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here.
Mhm.
I am literally right now, I have 3 spots open to work with me.
Mhm.
So you can go to thebreathingexperience.com
Mhm.
and go and click chat button, and we'll have a 15-minute chat and see if after I ask you a couple of questions, if we are
Mhm.
good fit to work with.
Okay.
I always do group sessions though. So if you
Okay.
say you want to come to your church, your business, your organization,
Mhm.
um, even coming to your home,
Mhm.
schedule what I call the girls fun party because I make it fun and exciting, but you get some tools and you leave with a workbook so that you guys can now, if you want to go and have a session together by yourselves, you can go through your workbook and work it out with one another.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank the audience for chiming in to us tonight. It's been a great. We will be bringing Eliza back. I am Sharon Campbell, your host for today, which is Tuesday, and have a fantastic week. And we're looking forward to being back with seeing you on Tuesday. Good night, everyone. Have a great night.